Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Pulse, brought to you by America's Pulse Network. Thank you for joining us, everybody. We have a great show ahead of you. Wait a minute. We have some breaking news. A federal judge limits Trump's ability to deport Abrego Garcia after lengthy court battle. Hold on one second. Look this up. All right, so it says a federal judge in Maryland issued an emergency ruling Wednesday blocking the Trump administration from immediately taking Salvadorian migrant Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who I'm tired of talking about, by the way, into ICE custody for 72 hours after he is released from criminal custody in Nashville, Tennessee, attempting to slow, if only temporarily, a case at the center of a legal and political maelstrom. U.S. District Judge Paula Zenas said in her order that the government must refrain from immediately taking Abrego Garcia into ICE custody pending release from criminal custody in Tennessee, and ordered he be returned to the ICE order of supervision at the Baltimore field office, the closest ICE facility near the District of Maryland, where Abrego was arrested earlier this year. Okay, well, all right, well, here we go. Roll with that, and I just changed my whole monologue up. So it's going to be something a little bit different because I wanted to talk about this. It was going to go in one thing, but part of it was going to be about this false news story, and I'm just going to make it all about this now. I just learned about it today. There was reports that an 82-year-old man from Allentown, PA, was deported to Guatemala, and it was falsely labeled as dead. And it's wildly inaccurate at all. U.S. immigration authorities have denied the claims, stating that they have no record of the man, Luis Leon, being detained or deported. The initial reports originated from the Morning Call and relied on family accounts, but discrepancies emerged, leading to DHS to call the story a hoax. And that's exactly what it was, a hoax. So that's what, one thing about what's going on with Trump, he fast-paced, everything is happening very fast-paced. He's delivering on all of his promises. And one of his main promises was to slow illegal immigration and deport people and close the borders. And right now, as of last month, there was 0 border crossing. So it's almost like people, it's still wildly popular, that policy of his, but it's almost like people almost forgot about it because it's not happening anymore. But the left and mainstream media are out there looking for anything to jump on, just like the Abrego Garcia, the Maryland dad was deported. And then you hear he was actually trafficking people. And it was like a wrong horse for them to pick, and they're still sticking by it. I don't know why, but they keep doubling down on stupid, but that's up to them. But and then they're looking for anything to just say, oh, gotcha. Look, they just deported this 82-year-old guy from Allentown, PA, and here he died, and they sent him to Guatemala when he's not even from there. And here the whole story is a hoax. Again, another hoax, which we'll get into later in the show. But with that, that's my monologue. I want to get to our hosts and our guests tonight that are coming on tonight. So first, I will bring on our host. We all love this sea-loving pirate when he steers a ship from his conservative corner podcast, Seth Eisenberg.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, Seth, how you doing? So, all right, and our first guest, and Mom will tell you, ladies first, welcome our first guest from the Base Mother podcast, Elena Barbera.
What's up, Damon?
How you doing? And our next guest, who never gets fazed by the rhinos, candidate for Baltimore County Council District 9, Tim Baker.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing? So, and last but not least, new to the show, our next guest, this dapper Don candidate from New Jersey, Assembly Legislative Candidate, District 6, Peter Sykes. Hey, Pete,
hey, Damon,
how
you guys doing? Doing fantastic.
Yeah, Pete's got a little bit delay, guys, out there. So if he, pauses for like 5 seconds, and you realize that's why we're trying to work on that with him. But it's the first time coming on. But welcome, Pete. Thanks for coming on. Welcome, everybody. Let's get this show on a roll. So, all right, got everybody coming up. All right. So the reason I named this episode "Crack Administration" it was kind of a play on Hunter Biden. Podcasting, where he just went absolutely crazy. Dropped so many F-bombs and went off on everybody. And I basically wanted to look at it as a crack in the, Hunter Biden smoked a lot of crack, but we'll get into that. But a crack in the foundation of the Democratic Party. And that's what I'm looking at right here. So to get started, so I labeled the first segment "Hunter's High Horse, Art, Ambien, Arrogance," and the reason I labeled it that is because of that podcast. He went on to talk about his art, how they were coming after him, that they were going after my career as an artist, and everyone damn well knows that no one's buying his art for $500,000, $500,000, or whatever it was selling it for, and it was a big scam to make money. And then the Ambien, he said that Joe Biden failed, in that debate with Trump, the epic failure because they gave him Ambien on a plane. I mean, that man's a walking Ambien. I mean, he really is. You don't need to give Joe Biden Ambien. I mean, so I don't know what he means by that. So with that, let's go into our first clip right here.
Does crack cocaine make you act any differently? No. Is it safer than alcohol? Probably. People think of crack as being dirty. It's the exact opposite. When you make crack, what you're doing is you're burning off all the impurities that are combined with the sodium bicarbonate, which makes it smokable. That's all.
That's all. That's all.
That's all, folks. It doesn't make you any different. It doesn't. No. Crack is fine. It's not whack. Crack is not whack.
Well, I hadn't seen that clip. Thank you, Damien.
Well, you're welcome for that one. So with that one, I was debating who I was going to go with first, but I got to go with Seth first. I know something really good is going to come out of this. So Seth, what's your take on the whole crack in the foundation administration and that? There's going to be more clips I'm going to play of that interview, but let's just roll you first. What's your take on all that?
Well, if anybody thought crack was safe after watching that video, is stupid. I mean, I've never in my entire life heard anybody say, hey, that illegal drug is really good for you. You should do it. It doesn't change you one bit. Get the ants off me. Oh my God. I can't even say anything. The guy's a moron. And how did the person interviewing not go, hey, I got to call bullshit on this. I'm sorry. No, you're full of shit, pal. I can look at you and tell that you're still feeling it from last year. It kills people. It's an illegal drug. You get arrested for it, but he's saying it's safe. Oh my God. I know. All you really got to do is just play the clip again. We don't even have to comment. Just watch the clip. That's my comment. The guy's an idiot. God.
All right. Well, with that, let's play the other clip too.
Oh, no.
Maybe he was on a little bit of that crack as you'll see these other clips coming.
Fuck him. Fuck him. Fuck him and everybody around him. I don't have to be fucking nice. Number one, I agree with Quentin Tarantino. Fucking George Clooney is not a fucking actor. He is a fucking, I don't know what he is. He's a brand. And by the way, and God bless him. You know what? He supposedly treats his friends really well. You know what I mean? Buys them things. And he's got a really great place in Lake Como. And he's great friends with Barack Obama. Fuck you. What do you have to do with fucking anything? Why do I have to fucking listen to you? What right do you have to step on a man who's given 52 years of his fucking life to the service of this country and decide that you, George Clooney, are going to take out basically a full-page ad in the fucking New York Times to undermine the president at a time in which, and you know what George Clooney did? Because he sat down, I guess, because he was given the blessing by the Obama team or the Obama people and whoever else, and David Axelrod.
Yeah, so I had to cut it there because he goes on, he rambles for a long time. But I had to cut a couple clips from him. So with that one, Elena, I want to ask you, it's the same thing with the crack, with that, fuck George Clooney and saying all that stuff, and the man that gave 52 years of his life to this country. I mean, where are we at with that one?
I got to say, though, on this one, I agree with Hunter. Who the hell does George Clooney think he is? Because he's got a bunch of fancy friends who are in his head telling him that he's smart and everybody should hear what he has to say. He butted his nose in, and he shouldn't have. He should, not at the point that Hunter's talking about, where he came out and he was like, "Hey, everybody, the president's not okay." But from way earlier, he was too involved. So Hunter, even a broken clock can be right once a day or twice a day, whatever it is. Hunter was right about George. As far as the I just got to say, if Saturday Night Live was fair, and they made fun of Hunter Biden. That crack clip is exactly word for word what would have played on Saturday Night Live. There is no question about it. I am so entertained. I can't even express how delighted I am that you played that clip. Thank you.
I had to watch just about that whole damn interview, and I'm like, oh man. And then that one really stuck out. There's a lot that stuck out. But that one, I said, oh, I had to rewind. What did he just say? That it doesn't really change you? I'm like, wait a minute. Is everybody wrong? Like, I grew up in Philly. I've seen it in person. Like, I've seen people change when they started smoking crack. So
yeah. Crack is whack.
They were doing it wrong.
Oh, I was going to say that.
Oh.
But, all right, so we got one more clip from this interview I want to play, and going after Pelosi. So let's play this.
You know who did not want Kamala Harris to be president and did not want her to be the nominee? Nancy Pelosi didn't want her to be. None of Nancy Pelosi's people wanted her to be. They wanted an open convention. They wanted a floor fight. They wanted I don't know what the hell they wanted, but they wanted to be the ones to anoint whoever they were going to anoint to become the next president of the United States.
Who do you think that would have been?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have any idea. All I know is that they definitely did not want Kamala.
So with that one, Tim, I'm going to go to you because with all the other clips and then this clip with Pelosi not wanting Kamala Harris, which I pretty much knew to begin with. I'm pretty sure Pelosi and probably Barack Obama, I'm just guessing, went over to Biden's house and said, hey, you're out. You got to drop out because they knew he was dead after that debate. And I'm pretty sure that the Bidens decided, I'm going to shove it up their butt and we're going to put something out on X on a Saturday, not even a press conference, say, hey, Kamala Harris has our full support, and they just stuck it to her and made her the nominee when Pelosi wanted, a convention and all that stuff. So with all the other clips and that, what do you got?
Well, he never learned that you step on a crack, you break your mother's back. And that guy looked like he was on crack that was interviewing him. The whole thing is just comical in one breath. It's, you got someone like Hunter Biden who has his difficulties in life, and that's being nice. Kind of trying to pull strings and play tough guy, take the moral high ground. But it does illustrate something in the political wings. And look, I don't agree with much on the left, but they have establishment as much as the right does. And many people on the right, they know that the establishment can be the enemy. The left had it too. You're seeing it being exposed because people have hurt feelings. You have the Clooneys and the Pelosi's trying to pull all the strings. And then you have the Bidens saying, wait a minute, we were just being used and we don't want to go where we want to go. And they're having a real problem right there on the left now. Look, we had it 10 years ago when Trump was coming in and you had the MAGA movement displacing the Jeb Bushes and the establishment in a sense. And we still have establishment, but they were displacing it then. The left is going through that now. And everything hinges on what they do at this point. If they give way to the far, far left, the Mandamis and all that, they're going to have a serious problem moving forward. And so is the country. But if they keep that old people establishment, left guard mentality with Pelosi in them, they're going to have problems there too, because then you got a fractured super left wing base. What are they going to do? They can't really move to the middle because Trump and the MAGA movement has taken that middle ground. So it's interesting to see this, and it's interesting to come out of his mouth. And yeah, he can be right sometimes. He's wrong on most things, but he's right on some of this. But crack, still whack, and that's bad. I had to steal that back.
So, all right. So, with that said, Pete, you are in the medical field too. So, going off the crack is whack thing, I'm sure you have a little bit to say about that. And then the other clips too, with the whole thing with Clooney, with Pelosi, with all that said, what do you got for us? What do you think?
Well, I was a mental health nurse for a long time as well, right? So I used to do addiction and things like that. And yeah, you definitely see a lot of these people, come in and they have a lot of issues and get off of that stuff. But that man, he was something else. Now, I'll tell you, I go ahead and I see a lot of the F-bombs, right? Do you notice that that's all the left has been doing lately is just foul-mouthed chuckleheads running around spouting this nonsense. I think that you should try to go ahead and maybe police your speech a little bit. But these guys, they have reckless abandon for whatever it is and then they went ahead and we're talking about the Ambien. Is that what you want to talk on? Biden with the Ambien. I mean, look, man, I think they were doing him a lot of uppers to keep him going throughout the majority of his time there. Give him something to come down, but I just don't think they juiced him, before that debate.
So sounds like Hunter's there.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, number one, again, I think they were giving him some stimulants before he went out there, because you seen Biden when he was out there, he's all bug-eyed, and we'll get to the bug-eyed part in the segment before. But the pupils were so dilated; they were crazy dilated. And then it was Aviator Joe with the sunglasses all the time, because when you're all on the stimulant like that, your pupils are so dilated, the sun hurts your eyes, and then you wore sunglasses all the time. And I don't think he needed the Ambien to come back down. So I really don't.
Can I pop in on the Ambien for a second? The one point that I don't hear anybody making is, why is the commander-in-chief ever being given Ambien, even if he can't sleep? Like, what if there's a national emergency and we need our president? Why is he being given sleep medication? And how much Ambien, and how frequently? And was it all 4 years? Like that Joey needed his pill to go to sleep every night? I mean, it's really scary the more that comes out.
That's a good question.
Yeah, you're right. And then on top of that, why would they give him Ambien before, I would say, the biggest debate of his life, when he was already struggling? If it was true, which I doubt it is, then that means they try to sandbag him right then and there to make him fail. So I doubt that that's what happened, but I don't see them giving Ambien. So, but so, hey, before I forget, I meant to say,
shove it up and shove it pressure
now. But I want to get it off everyone's chest right now with the scars they've got, on my head when I went on vacation. I was messing around with the kids, and I got them sunburned after I scraped my head, and now it's like a permanent scar. So I've been working on it. So get it off your chest now, because everyone. My job, they're printing out pictures of Mikhail Gorbachev, and they're saying, Gorbachev, tear down that wall, because he had the thing on, and they put them all over the job trailer, so they've been breaking my balls.
Well, I hadn't noticed, but now it's all I can see. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, I really didn't notice it too much until I came to the big screen. I'm like, oh, wow, I can really see it now.
I actually, your light is so bright, I still can't see it.
All right, good. Well, but anyway, I was waiting for Seth. He's like, what's on your head? Are you smoking crack?
Well, if you were, it'd be better. It would heal up quicker, because crack helps heal. It's got, like I said, vitamin D in it and stuff.
Yeah. Maybe I should take Hunter's advice about it.
Just eat some crack rocks.
Well, maybe crack actually makes you paint better. Maybe that's why it's selling for so much.
I think it's like the new limitless drug that makes you do everything better.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, with that, it's the end of this segment. Let's go into our first break.
Paying the bills.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up, because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution, because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
All right, everybody, welcome back to our next segment. So any listeners out there, if you want to make any comments, you can just make a comment. Our producer will put it on the screen. Any questions you guys have about any segments or any of the other podcasters here, you're more than welcome to ask a question.
Or
And,
they can tell us about all the positive experiences they've had with crack, and we can share it with everybody.
there you go. Is there any crack dealers out there? Because, but yeah. So and then also go to America's Pulse Network on X or anything. Like, subscribe, and you'll get all the alerts for these shows. So second segment, Tulsi's treason bombshell. Okay, so Tulsi's treason bombshell. Now this is about Obama. Now a lot of people are saying that she dropped this because of the whole Epstein thing, but we'll get into some of that a little bit later. But let's just play the first clip of Tulsi Gabbard here.
The implications of this are frankly nothing short of historic. Over 100 documents that we released on Friday really detail and provide evidence of how this treasonous conspiracy was directed by President Obama just weeks before he was due to leave office, after President Trump had already gotten elected. This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is an issue that is so serious it should concern every single American, because it has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic. What we saw occur here, as the documents we released detailed, was that we had a sitting president of the United States and his cabinet and leadership team, quite frankly, who were not happy with the fact that President Trump had won the election, that the American people had chosen Donald J. Trump to be the next president commander-in-chief of the United States. And so they decided that they would do everything possible to try to undermine his ability to do what voters tasked President Trump.
So there we go. So she says that a lot more emails are going to be coming out, and a lot of people are saying that they're dropping this to make the Epstein stuff go away, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So Tim, I want to go to you first. What do you think? Obama in trouble? I mean, even if this comes out and it's proven, and these other emails show that he actually made all this up, this Russia hoax, and he was behind it all, do you ever think anything's going to come of it?
Judging from experience with what's happened in the past, no, I don't see anything happening. However, it should, and I absolutely believe Obama is behind much of what has happened over the past decade with this corruption. It happens with all the presidents, somewhat. And if you compare something like this to Nixon as well, I mean, yeah, Nixon, if not more. And what we see now when we look back is the establishment on the right and the left didn't want Tulsi because she didn't play their games. They didn't want Trump because he didn't play their games. Even when Bush and them came out and they were kind of like anti-Trump, they were basically saying, look, this is an elite club and we take care of ourselves. Things happen and we're not going to have that stuff exposed. Well, it's being exposed. Now, the Republicans typically are spineless, and I can't see them acting on this, but they damn well should be, and the American people want them to, and we know it. I mean, it's quite obvious that if your gut is telling you that something has been going on, that there has been a silent coup, in a sense, going on in this country for a decade or more, we're not dumb. We see it. We want those answers. And I've already seen some of the emails coming out, and I'm like, yep, that's kind of what we always knew, but now it's on paper. But will anything happen? I doubt it. But damn, it really should. And the American people, we need to step up and say we will hold them accountable. Just to tie in Kilmore, Brea, or Garcia, being in Maryland, I tell a lot of people as well, you know what? Even if that judge throws somebody back, or the judge tells us Obama's not, fine or whatever, no. We, the people, can decide. You make them uncomfortable, and you make sure that they know that we don't want this. Make them leave the country. Same thing. Obama, you were treasonous to us. You hurt us. Out. Either leave the country or face consequences in prison or whatever it's going to be. I just don't think it'll happen, but I pray it does.
I do too. I do too, because I do watch a lot of congressional hearings, like oversight committee, whatever it may be, and they always have people there. They hammer on questions. Either they just dodge the questions, they filibuster, whatever it is, but you never actually see anything happen. And what happened to Trump's people, some people went to jail, actually, and Democrats broke that glass. So in my mind, that glass can't be unbroken at this point. So people can't get mad if they actually, go after and prosecute, especially something like this. It is treasonous if this all comes to light, and it is true. So, and with that, I'm going to just put up this headline real quick. Obama actually, does something very unlikely and comes out and defends himself, about this Russiagate, all this stuff. So usually they would just be quiet about it, but he's coming out and denies Trump's bizarre allegations that he was a Russiagate ringleader in a rare statement. Now, if he's not guilty of it, I'm in my mind, and tell me if I'm wrong, guys, I've never seen them come out to defend themselves. They would just brush it off, but coming out publicly to defend themselves maybe shows a little guilt. So what do you think, Elena?
I don't think it says anything. I don't think it shows innocence or guilt. I think it's a smart move. If somebody's accusing you of something so atrocious and so egregious, you have to come out and say, of course I didn't do it. I mean, I think anybody at that level would do just that. I'm sure today Tulsi said that she's referred Barack Obama to the DOJ for criminal prosecution. So things are moving. Will they ever happen? I mean, we tend to think nothing will ever happen because we've seen nothing else happen. But, this is something that's able to happen like within the intelligence community, right? Everybody in Congress really doesn't have any say over this, do they? I mean, stop me if I'm wrong. And I would venture to say the web is probably bigger than the small group of people we've heard of so far. And it may even include Republicans. This is going to get very interesting. Everyone is going to want to put the kibosh on this. And I hope that Tulsi Gabbard and anyone who's working on her team have 24/7 heavy duty security. And I mean that. I'm not just saying that. Like this is life and death stakes at this point.
You're probably right about that. I mean, and you look at the way the Democrats and left handle things, there's so many treasonous things have happened and come to light. I mean, number one, Trump gets in outsider. He's not, he wasn't playing their game. He said he's going to drain the swamp. They wanted to keep him out. So when he happened to win, I could just, in my mind, think Hillary's like, oh my God, what are they going to find out? Barack Obama's still the president, before Trump gets inaugurated. And boom, it puts out the Russian host to try to, basically lampoon his whole presidency. So you have that, and then you have other things too that come Joe Biden, dead president for 4 years, covering up that, and who was really running the country. The Democrats have done that, and that's why, again, it's a crack in the foundation of the Democratic Party right now. Because I want to bring something to right here home in New Jersey. Now, there's let's bring up the other. Headline here about Hakeem Jeffries and the federal judge.
Laura, you totally got this right there in your little tease. I mean, this is a blatant infringement on the separation of powers. I mean, it's pretty funny, isn't it? I mean, Democrats love to lambaste and excoriate President Trump for being a tyrant and a fascist. He's an imperial president there. He's trampling on the separation of powers, they tell us there. But then all of a sudden, when Hakeem Jeffries sees fit to dictate to the 17 federal judges in New Jersey, by the way, 15 of whom are nominated by Democrats, surprise, surprise, that's not really a...
So right there, I'll just let everybody know, Hakeem Jeffries, they're saying blatant corruption, swaying federal judges to remove Alina Habba from a position of U.S. Attorney of New Jersey because she rightfully charged Democrat Congresswoman LaMonica McIver with 2 counts of assault after allegedly, when I saw it, everyone saw it, so I'm still going to say allegedly, assaulting officers outside of a nice facility in Newark, New Jersey. And I'm also probably sure it has nothing to do that she used to be Trump's attorney too. But yeah, so basically, separation of powers, talking about overstepping, sway the federal judges to vote her out because it's 120 days that she could be in when she's temporarily appointed, and they could have extended it and the Senate and everything. They're taking vacations because they have to be the ones to decide. But then I don't know exactly how it works. I was reading about it, but the federal judges in New Jersey, most appointed by Obama and Biden, decided that she's done. So now her assistant is. So they're fighting it, but I don't know where it's going to go. So Pete, I want to go to you. You're from New Jersey with us. So what's your take on all this? Because we had Ras Baraka, the mayor of Newark, when he was running from governor, he tried to break in too. He was charged with trespassing, but they at least dropped those charges with him. But they're pursuing this one, the congresswoman, and now this is what's going on with Hakeem Jeffries swaying these judges.
Yeah, so then you also go ahead and so I'm not too familiar with, but I have seen it. I guess, can you hear me? You got me over there?
Yeah.
So, Halaba got put in by. All right, they go ahead and now these was going after the corruption. She was going after Murphy for apparently saying that he was keeping a illegal citizen up in his attic, or not citizen, illegal alien, sorry, up in his attic over his garage. She was over here investigating all these different things. These judges get together and say, no, sorry, you got to go. Well, Pam Bondi came out the same day and said, hey, look, this isn't going to fly. That new district attorney is not getting in there, and we're going to go ahead and believe. So we'll just have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, again, it's like rules for thee and not for me. That's the way the Democrats play it. But I'll give them credit. They don't give up. They'll double down on stupid all the time, and it must take somebody pretty special to keep doing that. But and it said, I want to bring it to you with all this too, with the whole Obama thing and everything else that we everyone else talked about. And then I did mention the Epstein files again. So why are Republicans like Marjorie Taylor Greene insinuating that Trump is covering this up? The Epstein files. It's like a pseudo maggot, because if she wants to insinuate without accusing, why not just come out and say Trump was a liar? Because I believe it's a power grab for when Trump is turned out. Then some Republicans are trying to take over the MAGA movement because when he's turned out, maybe it's that too. But I'm just roping a few Republicans in with this, with these Democrats. What do you think, Seth?
Well, first of all, that Hakeem Jeffries, that's the guy video we saw. That's him.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure they ruined a perfectly good penis when they put ears on that one. So just wanted to say that. That man just really is like fingernails on a chalkboard. I don't like him. But everybody's posturing now. It's like, hey, they know Trump's a lame duck president. He can't run again. So they all want to get their name out there. And, I think he's lying, or, we got to do this. We got to do that. I don't remember who said it, because I'm still caught on that whole crack is good thing. But Republicans are cowards. They just want to get along. They want to get by. They don't want to make waves. They want to just be liked. So if the majority of people are saying he's lying, a majority of the Republicans are going to go, yeah, he's lying. Yeah, what they said, that's right. If a majority say he's not, yeah, you're right. He's not lying. What they said. It's funny. And as far as anything happening to Obama, nothing's going to happen. Come on. Like I said last Wednesday, the Congress has a fund to pay off people who accuse congressmen of sexual misconduct. Nothing's going to happen to anybody. They'll make a big show of it. I can guarantee you there's going to be some hearings coming up about this. They're going to try to subpoena him. He's not going to come. They're going to go, we're going to send the U.S. Marshals to get him. He'll be here. And that'll be the end of it, because people in this country have a very short attention span. It'll last 2 or 3 weeks, and then they'll move on to something else shiny. We'll fixate on that for a little while, and something else will pop up, and we'll fixate on that for a while. Obama will walk away laughing. Wouldn't be surprised if he walked away laughing, had a beer with Bondi or Tulsi. It would not shock me at this point. Hey, it's you got me on TV. That's really good. Let me buy you a shot. You made me look bad, but I understand. You got to do what you got to do. Two sides of the same coin. That's all this is. It's let's make it good for the TV. Let's make it good for the show. Same thing in ancient Rome. They had gladiator fights, not to have fights, but to quell the masses, to make them just calm and quiet. Bread and circus. I think Marcus Aurelius said it. Bread and circus will calm the mob, and it does. So they're doing this just to calm the people down. It'll pass. Unfortunately, I would love to see something happen. But like Tim said, based on prior performance, predicts future outcomes. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing.
Are you not entertained?
Exactly.
I am entertained.
That's all it is. It's about entertaining the masses, and that's unfortunate. And hopefully, in a generation or two, they'll be like, "Hey, wait, let me take the blinders off. This is all bullshit. You all need to actually do something now." I need more crack.
So, well, speaking of entertainment, all right, the next segment, I have two clips that are wildly entertaining. So let's
It
take.
can't be better than the Hunter Biden crack. It can't.
No,
There's
not
nothing you're going to talk.
I'm being sarcastic, actually.
Okay.
So let's take a quick break and we'll go to the next segment.
I need more chocolate milk anyway.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to segment 3. First, I just want to say somebody named Benjamin said crack is a hell of a drug on there. So I'm sorry, I know you put that up there a little bit ago, but I forget what that was from a movie, I believe.
That's my daughter.
It is?
Yeah.
There's some parenting skills there.
Okay. At least she knows it's a hell of a drug. So, all right. Well, segment 3 is Colbert canceled. Woke plus broke equals late night joke. And that's basically what Colbert is, and Jimmy Fallon and all the rest of them that came out. I mean, if you look at all of them, they went to go see a show like in a protest, whatever. But when Colbert was talking and they turned to the crowd, you see like they have the laughing button where the crowd laughs, and they turned the camera, and nobody was even laughing at the stuff he was saying. He's freaking horrible. So basically, it comes down to money. All right, so they're losing $40 million a year. He's getting paid $20 million a year, and everyone's calling it political, that Donald Trump got him canceled and all that. No, he's not making money. I mean, any person that's rich usually is somewhat smart, I would assume. So if you're losing $40 million a year, you're like, I don't think it's working out. I'm going to cancel this show, and I'm going to get something that's going to make me money, because when you have a business, you're supposed to have commodities that make you profitable, and it's not profitable. So it's not like it's government that doesn't, the government doesn't care. It's just our money that you're spending. So, but yeah. So anyway, so I have up there. Here's just a little taste of it. I'm going to play these two. Well, I'll play the first clip first. That's Colbert. This is very entertaining. This is probably why.
The vaccine.
Well, that was very entertaining. What do you guys think about that? I think that was pretty entertaining.
I missed the funny part.
I mean, it's supposed to be a comedy show, number one. I mean, it doesn't have the vaccine. Like, I don't find that funny. And plus, why would the late night show, it's supposed to tell jokes, have something like that is so unfunny? I can't believe it. So, Pete, I'm going to go to you first because, nurse, I know you're against the vaccine and all that stuff too. I am now too as well. But still, that was just dumbest shit I've ever seen ever. So,
listen, man, that show is just, I know. So sorry about it, guys. I'm going to have to figure out this connection thing. Anyway, when you go ahead and you look at the vaccine and everything that they're doing to fame, right? He's trying to be funny and ridiculous, dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And to go ahead and make fun over the vaccine that is you honeypotted half the population and going to take a shot, you're going to go ahead and continue to push it. The reason that this guy is still on the air, was on the until a few days ago, is because money. Now that that's going to be drying up, they were getting public funds, right? And that's drying up. Yeah. They had to cut his salaries.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Money.
I mean, they did have the pharmaceutical, ads afterwards, and that's probably where they were making the money, and that was probably floating this show along. But I mean, even just cancel a whole show, not even placing it. I mean, you look at somebody like Gutfeld. Gutfeld, I think it reaches like around like 61 million homes or something, and that show reaches like 300 million homes, and Gutfeld is just like killing them, and it's a cable network too. So he's funny, you know. Colbert is not, and Jimmy Fallon is not funny. And I just, everyone that's out there watching, just tell me, maybe this is the next show to go. Tell me if this is funny. Let's play this next clip.
I'm in my jorts. I'm in my George shorts. I'm in my jorts. Jean shorts, that means jorts. My name's Carl, and I wear jorts. I like all sorts of racket sports. Jorts. I got my George shorts on the court.
Now, I'm going to go to you, Elena. Now, that right there, I don't know, something like a rage comes over me when I see that. Like, I want to just jump through the screen and just beat the hell out of them like I was in high school, and just make fun of them and just stand over them. Like, don't, like, just get away from that. Like, I don't know. I'm not that kind of person, but just watching that is like, why are you putting this on my TV? Why was this even made? Well, like, who would waste their time and money to dance around about shorts? And that was the worst thing I've ever seen. I really have dreams of choking them to death after seeing that. I'm sorry.
Well, I understand. It's astonishing that he makes tens of millions of dollars, that union writers who have, you know, high salaries and benefits and job protection write that stuff. I mean, that was atrocious. And as you were playing it, I'm trying to, like, you know, am I being biased? Like, imagine this was a comedian who I liked. And no, even if it was a comedian who I liked, there's nothing funny in that bit. It is just an embarrassment and emasculating and so skeevy, the whole thing. I'm actually annoyed with you that you made me watch it.
Well, I apologize, you know, and all those things, I apologize too. But yeah, it was it's so bad. And it's like, but it's like, how are these people? I look at it, and I know what I do for a living, what you guys do for a living. We all work hard. And I'm like, this guy, like you put it, this guy is rich. He's making a ton of money. And maybe I'm jealous. Maybe that's why I wanted, like, to just smack him up and down the street, you know, because he can get rich off of doing something so stupid. Like, a friend of mine who might be watching right now, he showed me a video of Cardi B today. Everyone knows about her song WAP back in the day. You all know, everyone knows what it means. But she's like, in order to get that, you have to drink. And just hearing her talk, I lost like 1,000 brain cells. She said, you have to drink Pedialyte, a lot of Pedialyte, electrolytes, and that's how you get the WAP. And I'm looking, I'm like, she's worth millions of dollars. And I'm thinking about Jimmy Fallon and Colbert, they're worth millions. So, I mean, Seth, what are we doing wrong? That's what I want to know.
Well, number one, Cardi B makes music for women that use Febreze and dirty panties. So I'm just going to leave that at that.
Really?
Jimmy Fallon I can't stand Jimmy Fallon from the Saturday Night Live days because he ruined every skit he was in. He laughed or he would just like blank out. And from that point on, I didn't like him. Colbert used to be funny. I mean, when he first came out and he was trying, he was funny. He wasn't all political. He wasn't all about Trump. He was pretty much like a shotgun. He would make fun of everything. And then as he figured out, hey, I could get more and more people watching me if I start making fun of politics, and then more people if I make fun of Trump, the shit got old. Like I said Wednesday, it got old. You could only do that for so long before people are like, yeah, you know, that joke was funny the first 10,000 times. Now it's, you know, I don't want to hear it anymore. He's not getting canned because of Trump, like you said. He's getting canned because, number one, he's not funny. His whole show is just a repeat of the show before, a repeat of the show before and before and before. He does the same thing, makes the same comments, makes fun of the same people. It gets old. It's not funny. David Letterman was funny. Johnny Carson was funny because they didn't focus on one thing. It was everything. If they made fun of Trump, they'd make fun of Biden. If they made fun of George Bush, they'd make fun of Jim. They'd make fun of everybody. There was nobody safe when they were on the stage. And even Carson said it's not his job to support politicians. He's there to entertain. That is it. And now we have comedians who think it's their job to educate the public on what is right and what is wrong. I think if you had to pick people to do a late night show now that I would watch, it would be Dennis Leary, who makes me laugh till I piss my pants. Just The man is crazy. Lewis Black, even though he's a lib, he is still pretty much all over the board about everybody. That is funny. When I can't sit there and go, oh, he's gonna make fun of Trump now. Oh, he's gonna make fun of Trump now. Oh, he's gonna make it. It loses its humor, and that's why he's losing his job. And Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers and Jon Stewart also they see it coming down the pike because they do the same things. They make the same jokes about the same people, and they're thinking, if he's gone, my shit's on the chopping block now too. I got to do something. They're all going to go because it's not because of who they're talking to. They're just not funny. They're just not funny anymore.
No, they're right. I mean, I look at people even like Jimmy Kimmel when he cried after Trump was elected on stage. I'm like, oh my God. I forget what episode of my podcast sure I did on that. I ripped into him. I was like,
well, as much as Elena wants to punch you for playing that George video, I want to drop some bows on Kimmel's face on live TV. It's just something about his face I don't like. Just something about his face. And yeah, Dave Chappelle is funny too. These people, everybody's a target for these people, not just Trump, and it gets old.
Gotcha. All right, well, Tim, I mean, I know you could make something as far as like bananas even funny. So, I mean, what's going on here? You should be getting.
Yeah, I do remember Johnny Carson a little as a kid. I wasn't old enough to appreciate it, but I did remember watching Letterman in the 80s, and I liked Letterman. He became wacko as time went on. As I became an adult, I started watching Leno, and I remember he did make fun of everybody, and it didn't bother me. It didn't feel like a personal attack. And I think that's where a lot of these left comedians or product of wokeness, as they start coming in, they're evil with their attacks. There is vitriol. There is no, lighthearted joking about it. And I can take jokes about Trump. I can take jokes about myself or whatever. But when it starts to be a personal attack on me, why am I going to watch any of that crap? And that's how they alienate half their base, at least. Now, I've never seen any of their shows, to be honest. I've seen clips. Sometimes I'm like Jimmy Fallon. I've seen some clips, and I'm like, it's okay. Most of all the other ones, I'm like, no, I don't really. It's not appealing to me. It could be because I'm old, but honestly, I think it's because their product is not humor. They've tried this woke mind in that field, and it's destroyed a lot of that field. And you've seen a lot of comedians on the left and right both say, stop that political crap in here because it's destroying that industry. And I love watching comedians. And when they start getting into politics, if I'm prepared that they kind of get into politics, I'm okay with that. But if I don't expect it and they start throwing out there and they're attacking, my side in a sense, I'm like, no, I turn that off. Bless you. It's bananas to live on air. But the bottom line is, it's terrible product. They've been subsidizing those shows, knowing that they've been losing money. And I think they see the end of it now because they know that Trump has changed the game. The woke mindset in that corporate culture is dissolving and dissipating, and they got to figure out something else because they can't keep supporting this cultural thing. And maybe they were getting actually, I'll put it like this. I'm almost positive those programs were getting money through those NGOs because when I ran for Congress, I learned a lot, and I found out the reason why you see so many, say, homosexual or transgender stuff and interracial type stuff is because social engineering and Hollywood and media were getting the money to make sure they hit these quotas to put that stuff in there. I guarantee if you really uncover that stuff, NBC and all these companies were getting that money, subsidize those losses that we were paying for. So goodbye, Colbert, or was it Colbert that got cut?
Yeah.
I just got to say, if that's true, and that's we may get America back, at least culturally. Like they may, in order to stay in business, they may just come to their senses magically. Wouldn't it be nice?
Yep. It would be. I mean, definitely. I mean, you look at every company. That's why I said woke equals broke. Late night joke. Look at Disney. They tried it. Lost a ton of money. Their movies failed. Look at Bud Light. They took a big hurting with Dylan Mulvaney. And I guess people are starting to realize it. Hopefully we get some funny stuff back. I mean, just look at the Republican Party now. It's almost like it's cool to be a Republican. You see Trump out there. He's an entertainer too. Like sometimes he's fun to watch. And other Republicans, it's almost like it's normal and cool and funny to be involved in politics and actually vote and then love your country, instead of hating it, and that's what it was all about. And I think people are done with that, and that's why these shows are getting canceled. That's awesome. And Pete, by the way, somebody said, Fred said, did Alexandra get a makeover because don't recognize you? So I don't know. Maybe you should open the blouse a little bit.
We're talking about Pete. Yeah.
Sorry, buddy. So I'm a little stiff neck in here today. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I thought that was Ron Perlman up there.
So, all right. So with that, we'll take another break and we'll go to our next segment.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
All right, everybody, welcome back to our last segment here. I named this one Bug-Eyed and Bankrupt, Leftist Brink's Trump Rise. And it's kind of just feeds off of the last segment. So, we've already mentioned about Colbert's show getting canceled. So leftists are on the break and they're starting to die off, hopefully. We can keep that going. And, Trump on the rise. I mean, you look at what's going on, what Trump has done in the past 6 months. We talked about the border earlier. The economy's on the rise. Inflation is down. It's almost at the 2% that we wanted. We had our first surplus in 20 years in the month of June, which is amazing. But then the left, they're still teetering on the brink. They're almost pushed over the edge, but not quite there yet. Not to push them over the edge, but I would just say bring them back to common sense. And that's what I would love to do, but I don't know. But I wanted to bring up this one story here, and it's going to be a minute. I'm going to just read this because I found out about this yesterday. You guys are all familiar with the Breonna Taylor story. So I'll just read it to you real quick. So a federal judge sentenced former Louisville, Kentucky detective Brett Hankinson to almost 3 years in prison for his role in the Breonna Taylor shooting. According to the Wall Street Journal, Taylor was fatally shot during a no-knock warrant. Breonna Taylor was in an apartment with her boyfriend, and the police had a no-knock warrant, but used caution and knocked anyway. And the boyfriend fired a shot through the door, hitting one of the officers in the leg. So after that, the officers responded by firing back, and several rounds killed Breonna Taylor. Now it's proven that none of the rounds fired by Officer Hankinson hit Taylor or anyone else for that matter. So the original conviction of Detective Hankinson was based off of felony. It was called felony wanted endangerment in 2020, which was acquitted. But the federal government under Biden brought a civil rights violation case against Hankinson under 242 of Title 18, which is depriving a person of their rights under the color of law. And what that means, it's actions that subject a person to different punishments based on their race, color, or alien status. So, and the judge, Rebecca Grady Jennings, sentenced him to 33 months. So I'm just curious, can you see color through a door or when bullets are flying at you, and one of your officers go down next to you? And so how does this guy get sentenced to 33 months when it was a no-knock warrant and they get shot at through the door? And so they fire back, and the one guy didn't even hit anybody. And then he gets sentenced almost life in prison for the first charge. It was acquitted. And then they go back and they recharge him for this. But it's, I don't know. I don't know. So what do you guys think about this? I'll go to you, Tim, first. Because Seth dropped off. He just texted. He said power went out in his neighborhood. So
yeah, he's probably hitting the sauce real quick. But yeah, it's look, they've infected us with race-minded things forever in this country, and that stuff has really been detrimental to our society. It's balkanized us, and you don't see the color. And look, cops aren't perfect. I helped start an organization with supporting police and all those things. They do some bad things sometimes too, but ultimately they're risking their lives. To know who's behind the door and what's coming at you, my first instinct is survival and safety. So if that means that somebody else, probably a bad person, is probably going to, take, the hit, so I'm with you, because I get it. Now, the judges I find to be very corrupt in a lot of these situations because they are part of the establishment. They are put in positions a lot of times by being nominated by left wing or right wing, whatever it is, and they tend to fall in those segments. And they will continue to push narratives because they're getting something out of it, I'm sure, even if it's just supporting their own political belief. To see, I don't know all the details in a case like this, but to see an officer punished because of basically doing their job is tough. Do I think, and was there malintent? I highly doubt it. Were there things that could have been different? Maybe. But ultimately, like I said, and most people, you put them in a situation like that, it's survival mode, and they're going to do whatever they can to protect themselves first. And we should be protecting the people that are here to help us instead of the dregs of society who are the ones stealing from others, killing others, raping others, and doing all this stuff. So I have no sympathy for the bad guys, but for the, if this officer were actually innocent, my sympathies go towards that family completely.
So, all right. So my next question is, so Pete, you're running for office yourself too. So if you were in Trump's position with this, everything read about this case, everything that happened, everything is down. It's proven that they had a no-knock warrant, but they knocked anyway. And then the boyfriend shot through the door, hit an officer in the leg. He goes down. All the other officers shoot back. Brown and Tower happens to be in there, gets shot. And then this happens. They charge him. He's acquitted on the one thing. And then they come back and they charge him with this, this other one where, like I said, the actions that subject a person to different punishments based on their race, color, or alien status, which is ridiculous. I'm thinking it really came from, the left and all the George Floyd stuff that happened. So, what do you think about this? What would your answer be to something like this? Should Trump pardon him? You're muted, Pete. We can't hear you. I don't know. Oh, hold on. We can hear you now. I think so. Try it again.
Hold on.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay. So sorry. So anyway, there was three officers involved. Two went to the front door. One ran around the side. They knocked at the front door. They took one shot. One of the guys got hit. The guy that went around the side started opening fire through the shaded window. He couldn't see who he was shooting at. He was just shooting. All right. Should he have lost his job? That is kind of negligent, just randomly shooting your gun. Look, maybe lose your job to go to be arrested, go to jail for 3 years. That's a bit of a stretch. Trump's DOJ did come out and say, drop the charges one day. At this point in time, you take the man's job away, but you allow him to continue his life. I feel like that's just getting scared in the moment and trying to go ahead and help his buddies out. And, if he had some support, maybe things would have been different. But then you also look at the other side where the judges, it was big motivational politically, where they went ahead and tried to, they were getting Twitter backlash. And they needed to make a decision quick to stop the riots from coming right around BLM time.
Good point. Elena, what's your take on that? And Pete mentioned Twitter too. When you get the Twitter backlash, it actually goes back to that very first story I was talking about, the monologue about the 82-year-old guy deported. That all came off of Twitter. That's how it took off. When information's coming like that and Twitter and everyone believes it right away. I mean, you think that has anything to do with it?
I think the entire Biden, the entire reason that the Biden DOJ went after this guy was to placate the mob, because they were, the race baiting mob, and just so that they calmed down a little bit, because they felt that something was being done about the fact that a black woman died. If it was a white woman, this cop never would have been prosecuted by Biden's DOJ, and I would stake my life on that. As far as pardoning this guy, I think it's really dicey just because of the aftermath, because there are people, who want to protest anything, and maybe it would get them off of one of their other causes, get them off of the illegal aliens for a bit. That might be fun to have them go back to, BLM riots, just to mix up the show for us. But I think perhaps commuting his sentence without a full pardon might be a balance in the middle. I mean, he does have that option, if I'm not incorrect. And so that way he still has the prosecution and his record, but he gets to go home, because this guy's been through enough. This has been a long time. It was a bad day on the job, and it sounds like mistakes were made. And allegedly the warrant itself wasn't as solid as it should have been. I don't know all the details, but I do know that. So I think as a nation, it would be nice to just put this whole thing behind us.
I agree. So Byrne says, yes, Trump should pardon, and that the judges are the main problem. Well, yeah, a lot of them are. A lot of the judges are a problem as well. But it just seems like the whole cultural shift under the left, when Biden got in, and the whole DEI stuff, it's like you said, Elena, if it was a white woman that was shot, never heard a word about it. I mean, not at all. I mean, you look at the media now, because media drive everything. And I'll beat a dead horse until it's even deader, with the media. I can't stand them. When I ran for Congress myself, I wanted to make change, but the whole reason why I got into radio and the podcast and, co-founded the network with all the guys and doing this show is because I realized that media can be more powerful than politics sometimes, because people listen to the media more than anything. You can put the propaganda out there, you can stir up the mob, and, that's what I figured. And that's why I can't stand the media, because they push it over and over and over again, the same lie, same agenda. But look at mainstream media, when you had Jocelyn Ungari, Rachel Moore, and Lagan Riley were killed by illegal immigrants. The only one to cover it was Fox and Newsmax. That was it. Everyone else, they would got a 30-second blip on all the major channels, and that I think a lot of it comes from that. So. Well, with that, guys, we're wrapping up the end of the show. So let's get to our wrap up. Oh, I forgot to do this in the beginning when I was talking about the Abrego Garcia. So let's put this guy up on the screen. DW. Yeah, it was the bug-eyed thing. That was the bug-eyed liberals for that. I forgot about that, because look at them; they're all bug-eyed. And I was going to say, Pete, what are they on? Anybody know what they're on? We talk about crack. Are they smoking crack too? Look at all their eyes.
It very well could be, antidepressants, crack, who knows?
It's not crack. Crack is good for you.
I guess so.
Maybe some meth then.
But there's another one too that I missed too. It was in the very beginning. The very, very, very beginning. It was a guy, he was actually got arrested for charging illegals $200 to take them to sanctuary state right here. Texas man arrested for charging illegals $200 per person to guide them to asylum towns. He instead led them to ICE detention centers. So it says on there,
he's a hero.
Yeah, we should start a GoFundMe, for his bail. He could have let Abrego right there. Boom, done. So I forgot to mention this guy. So
that's good.
But all right, guys. Well, everyone out there listening, thanks for joining us tonight. And guys, as always, thanks for coming on. This is awesome. I love the polls. It's a good time. It's always fun. It's always funny. Crack is not whack, right? So it is good for you, according to Hunter Biden. So we'll have to cut that clip. Hunter Biden said it, not us. So he's the expert. So, all right, guys. Have a good night.
Good night.
Thank you much.
Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country, America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
Righteous pride in this one big voice, it's our time.